Happy Tuesday. So we're in the parable of the sower, the parable of the four soils, found in Matthew chapter 13, which is a section that has lots of different parables in it. Jesus is a master storyteller. Stories are often a more effective way of communicating truth, smuggling truth sort of under people's radar. A plot, I heard yesterday at a lecture I was at, a plot is more persuasive than an argument. So anyway, look, Jesus is a master teacher. Among the many things that Jesus is profound at, among the many reasons Jesus is, one of the most significant people ever to live, and I would argue he's the most significant, but among the many different reasons you could elevate Jesus, he sort of makes parables. He takes this teaching form. He's a master teacher. He's a master teacher both in terms of the content that he delivers, but also the method in which he delivers it. So he tells lots of parables, stories that are interesting, that have a point to them. Maybe sometimes more than just one point, but generally you don't push on a parable too hard. So this parable in particular came to life for me when I was in Israel. One of the first times I was at the Nazareth village, which is a recreation of first century Nazareth. It's not anything like what we do in the United States around theme parks and biblical theme parks. This was very simple, but it had recreated in Nazareth a first century village. And so you could see all the things that were sort of at the time of Christ, and a lot of things came popping to life. For instance, Israel's very hilly, and the soil is not great. And so when they're farming, and there's a lot of pastoral stuff that goes on, but when they're farming, they build terraces into the side of the hill, right? You've seen this in different places. So you have some ground here, and then there's a wall, a bunch of rocks. So they build a retaining wall, and it goes up. And then here you have a path. And then next to the path you have good soil. And then next to the good soil you have good soil that is not, you're not tending because it's right very close to the rock wall that's going up, and then you do it again. So here's the deal. When the sower is coming by with a bag of grain, a bag of seeds, the farmer is going to walk along the ledge. So immediately we'll say to his or her right is going to be rocks. The narrow path that they're standing on is the dirt that has been pressed down. They walk on it, and so it's hard packed. Next to that is the good soil where they want the seeds to land, and then next to that, right up against the wall, is an area they're not necessarily going to weed. It's going to oftentimes be in the shade, but it's right next to the wall. So when the farmer will just grab a bunch of seed and throw it, some of the seed is going to fall onto the rock wall. And you heard what happens there. Some of it is going to stay on the path that the farmer is walking on. Some of it is going to be in good soil, and then some of it is going to be in soil that's good but also has weeds, and it's not going to be attended to. So, all of that to say, as we hear this illustration, what Jesus is asking us is, what kind of soil is in your heart? So I will frame it this way. I'll give you three questions. Are there idols growing in the good soil? Like, what is growing in your heart? Are there good things that aren't the great things? They're not what was planted by God. Secondly, how many weeds are there? And I don't know what a weed is. Technically, I think it's just a plant that you don't want to be growing at the time, and I think weeds tend to be called weeds because they grow very easily as opposed to, something you could eat or roses or whatever. So how do you even know if something that's growing there is a weed or not? Have you thought that through? And thirdly, how many of your challenges in life are because you're not expecting there to be weeds, or you're not expecting the seed of God to fall on hard-packed ground or other things? Are you cultivating the kind of heart, the soil that allows the things of God to grow and prosper? Have a good day.